Okay. So welcome everybody. When was the last time, there's a heavy duty question for today's day and age. When was the last time you really felt at peace or really felt serene?
I'm
Huh?
just thinking about that today. Um,
Are you serious? Want to know the answer?
I don't
Pre-COVID.
know. Yeah. Well, is it a loaded
Pre-COVID.
question? Pre-COVID. Okay.
Yeah, because even working in the hospitals, even patients and family members' behavior has changed since COVID.
Yeah.
It's rough. It's really rough in medical.
What do you say? Anyone else have anything to say? I know your answer, Carrie. It's
you
been a
do?
while, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's funny.
Yes.
I just saw a thing online. I don't know if I believe all these things, but it gave a whole thing how the problem today, because we're like so on our phones and so social, like on social media, and like all the notifications we're constantly getting, that since COVID, we don't like our brains don't have time to process experiences, information, and so it's not like you're not creating your own history, and like you're not having like your own, like, oh, this happened then, that happened then. It's just one big mush of crazy experiences because you're so like not present, and you're so just everywhere, and your brain is just flying everywhere between all the different, you know because of our phones, the way our phones work today. I'm just gonna meet you, Malka. Hi, Malka. Hi, Liat. Okay. Anyway, so yes, it seems like it's almost impossible these days to get to feel serene, to feel peace, just to feel calm. And everyone is having these issues. Like we scroll on our phones, we see all the wars going on, we see all the unrest in the world, we see threats, we see problems in our lives, we see problems with the world, at the world at large, and it so makes it so hard for all of us to focus, because of that, and it just makes us very unsteady, I guess, unstable. So today we're going to look at the Parsha. And we're also going to look at the work of the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, Mishneh Zalman, and will help us see how can we find peace and serenity in our world. Hi, Eileen.
Hi. I
Okay.
wanted to come in person. I've been out with my machatanister all day. I was so
Oh,
exhausted.
beautiful. No
I
problem.
couldn't.
Okay. So this week is Parshas Vaera,
Yeah.
and it's last week. Moshe was approaching Paro in a very dramatic face-to-face meeting, right? And he tells Paro, Hashem said, let the Jewish people go. And Paro kind of laughs in his face, and he tries to and it just seems like it didn't go well. And Moshe's like, oh gosh, what's going on? And then it just made things worse. Now Paro makes the Jewish people create their own bricks, where before they were given the bricks or something like that, cement, whatever it was. And the Jewish people are upset. Moshe feels like he messed up, and he goes to Hashem and cries, what's going on? Why have you done evil to these people?" And this is what Hashem responds. It's in our week's parsha in Vaera. This is how the parsha starts off. Text number 1. I'll just read together with me. Okay. Who wants to read text number 1? Eileen?
Sure.
Go for it.
God spoke to Moses, and he said to him, I am God. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob with the name K Shakai, but with my name Havaya, I did not become known to them. And also I established my covenant with them to give them the land of Canaan, the land of their journey in which they sojourned. And also I heard the moans of the children of Israel, whom the Egyptians are holding in bondage, and I remembered my covenant.
And it continues here.
Therefore, say to the children of Israel, I am God, and I will take you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will save you from their labor, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments. And I will take you to me as a people, and I will be a God to you, and you will know that I am your God, who has brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will bring you to the land concerning which I raised my hand to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, and I will give it to you as a heritage. I am God.
Okay, so this is Hashem's answer to Moshe of what's going on, what are you doing to this nation? So basically, Hashem is telling him he's promised the forefathers that he's going to bring his children out of Egypt and bring them to the land of Israel, and now he's coming to fulfill the promise. But the problem is, why does he start off with this whole discussion? If you saw me from the previous page, whoops. 1 second. 1 second, guys. Sorry. The previous page, but now I can't even find my. There we go. Here. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob with the name Kel Shakai, but my name Haviah did not become known to them. What does that have to do with anything? Why is that part of the answer? What do we need to know about the different names of God and what it's all about? People are suffering, they want help, they want to get out, and Hashem gives an explanation about his names. Obviously,
What is Vaera? Yeah.
Haviah is the same as like when it's Yud, a Hey, a Vav, and a Hey. But we just pronounce it Haviah. We just change the lettering around because we can't really say that name straight out ever. So really, each of Hashem's names is a characteristic of Hashem. It's not like he's different people. There's different things Hashem shows to the world at different times. It's just like someone might be a woman, a mother, a wife, a daughter. She may also be a teacher or whatever it is. A person can have different names. Different people call them different names, not because they're different people, but there's different aspects of them that they are doing at that moment. So Hashem has different characteristics. He has kindness, compassion, severity, and depending on how Hashem is showing himself at that moment, that's what the name is that we would call him. Okay, let's read text number 2. Okay, Carrie, you want to read it?
To explain the Kabbalistic concept of the name of hell and
I can read it if you want.
Carrie's in the middle of reading, but thank you so much, Valentina. Did you hear her? Okay.
to explain the Kabbalistic concept of the name of Kel in kindness, while the name Kel reflects our intent toward the Creator himself, a more accurate definition is he who specifically shines and acts through the attributes of kindness, and so on. The name Elohim refers to the Creator as he shines and acts through the attribute of discipline, etc. The Shekinah refers to God as he shines and acts through the attribute of kingship, and so on. The Creator is called Kel when he bestows kindness, and Elohim when he acts with discipline to execute justice. Heaven forbid. From this, we see clearly that each of the names corresponds to a distinct action separate from the others.
Okay, so this we see each name of Hashem is different parts of how the Jewish people will see Hashem. So Hashem is saying, why have you made things worse for the Jewish people? He's saying, I am going to bring a side of me out that no one ever saw before, something that will need to how I will show how the Jews will get out of Egypt. I'm taking them out of Egypt, and you're going to see a characteristic of mine that I haven't revealed. And the revelation of the Jews being taken out of Egypt will be something that no one has ever seen before. Like, the whole Exodus will be a whole supernatural different type of thing. And that will be in connection with the name that I will be revealing. So to understand the concepts of Hashem's name, we're going to discuss light and dark. Okay? Light and dark, very big metaphors, and you always hear the light and the dark. So we think of dark times, right? That kind of sounds like it's heavy, it's despairing, some kind of underworld. Dark could mean threat. It could mean a fear, an anxiety, a sadness, a pain, right? Think of all those things about dark when we talk about darkness and dark could mean. And then when we talk about light, light is the opposite. Maybe it's safety, joy, life. It's not just a literary metaphor when we talk about dark and light, but it's actually a spiritual concept. When we say light, we're talking about Hashem's presence, and how it's expressed and felt in the world. For example, when we talk about the Beis Hamikdash, Hashem's home in the world, or a very specific home. Let's see what it says about the Beis Hamikdash. Read text number 3. Okay, Valentina, you can go now.
Okay. Let me try to do. So Rabbi Janina said there were windows of the Holy Temple from which light would go out to the world. They were narrow on the inside and wide on the outside in order to send light out to the world. Rabbi Levi offered a metaphor of a king who built himself a palace and made its windows narrow on the outside and wide on the inside in order to bring light into it. By contrast, the windows of the Holy Temple were not so. Rather, they were narrow on the inside and wide on the outside in order to send forth a great light.
So the light in the Beis Hamikdash, the light in the Holy Temple was godly light, obviously, and it was so great that it lit up the outside. So they made the windows in a way that the light from the Beis Hamikdash would spread out to the outside. Usually when people build houses, especially in the olden days before they had the lights like we do, they build the windows that the light from the outside should come inside. But we see that light shows godly presence. When we don't see God, we talk about darkness. And that we could see in text number 4. Okay. I guess back to let's see, Carrie.
God's highest will, in its innermost aspect, is the source of life that gives energy to all the worlds. It doesn't enter negative forces at all. Even in its residual influence, only surrounds them from above, never fully penetrating. That's why those negative spaces turn into places of death and impurity. May God protect us.
So when divine light is lacking, there can be evil or negativity in the world. Okay, so it seems bad and dark and scary. But don't fret, because our job in the world is to turn that darkness into light, like we spoke about Sunday night or Tuesday morning when we came to my class. We talked about bringing out the light. So it's not all lost because there's darkness. Our job in the world is to bring the light. And when we bring out just a little bit of light in a very dark place, it lightens up, right? You can all of a sudden see again. Text number 5. Anyone else on Zoom that could read that didn't read yet?
I could read if you like.
Okay, go for it.
The ultimate goal is this lower world. God chose it so that he could take pleasure in what we do here, our efforts to confront the forces of evil and turn darkness into light. The infinite light of God shines into the darkness and negative forces of the world, giving us the power to overcome them. This is the light that will be fully revealed in the future, uncovered and shining on its own. As it says, God will be your everlasting light.
Okay. So when Hashem presence shines, it's light. Everything is clear, right? When there's light, we say, oh, it's clear. We can finally see, right? So what we need to do, is to try to bring that light out. So we're always trying to bring this light out and make it that time. And when we get it all, when we brighten up everything, that is the era of Mashiach. And all the years of history when people were constantly uncovering lights, when people were constantly finding the sparks of godliness and things and constantly working their way, it was all towards this time. So it's been generation after generation trying to bring light, light, light into the world. And all that light adds up until it's light enough for the era of Mashiach, for Mashiach to come, for when all the all of God's light will be revealed in this world. Okay, text number 6a. Eileen, can you still read?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. God said, how long will the world continue in darkness? Bring on the light. And God said, let there be light. This refers to Abraham, and God called the light day. This refers to Jacob.
So through the generations, there were different lights. So the Abraham brought a certain amount of light, Yaakov brought a certain amount of light, and let's continue. Even the moon represents light. So let's continue comparisons in the moon, text 6b. Okay, I'll go, Carrie.
On the first of Nisan, the moon begins to shine, and each day it grows brighter until the 15th day when its disk is full. So it is with Israel. 15 generations inspired from Abraham until Solomon. Abraham began to shine, as it says, who aroused from the east the righteous one and called him to his service. Isaiah 41:2. Then Isaac shone as well, as it says, light is sown for the righteous. Psalms 97:11. Then Jacob added even more light, as it says, the light of Israel will be for fire. Isaiah 10:17. After them came Judah, Perez, Hezron, Ram, Aminadab, Nahshon, Solomon, Boaz, Obed, Jesse, and David. When Solomon came, the moon's disk was full.
Okay, so each leader brought out more light and brought us closer to the time of Mashiach. So light is not all the same. Sometimes light could just be a small, hazy ray, and sometimes it could be a blazing beam. So there are moments in history when there was a strong surge of light, and sometimes in history when it was a very small amount of light. So we go back to the Parsha, and Moshe asks, when will you save your people? When's the redemption coming? The answer that Hashem gave, it's not just a physical saving of the Jews, but it's also the amount of godly light that will be brought into the world. And the amount of godly light that Hashem brought into the world to take the people out of Egypt was huge. And he's explaining it by explaining his name. He's telling them, hey, how much light will come forth for this redemption for the Jews to get out of Egypt? So usually everyone knows me by Elohim, the nature side of God, the concealed godliness. And interestingly enough, Elohim equals 86 in the numerical value, and that which equals Hateva, which means the nature. Because when God keeps himself in nature, you don't really see the godliness in something, you just the regular things that happen and just how it happens. That is the name of Elohim, of Hashem. But he's saying, now I'm going to show you guys the light of Hashem, that's Havaya, which is, again, the letter of Yud, K, Vav, K, the transcendent, infinite light, the supernatural light, the much greater level of light that the world has not seen yet. So the light of Havaya was not correct light for the generations of the forefathers. People needed to grow first, but now that is going to be the light that Hashem will take the Jews out of Egypt with. So the time has come now for this great, great light. So we see different times in throughout history that there are times that we see Hashem more, times that we see Hashem less, or times that all of a sudden we need a stronger light to keep the generation going or to do something, and times where it's more like status quo. Out here, Elohim, A6, Ateva. And here's a little thing to show us. This is, oh yeah, okay. Text number 7. Okay, Valentina, want to do it?
Sure. Okay. But with my name, Havaya, this means the level of Havaya alone before it comes into expression through the attributes as the source of all being and source of life. I did not become known to them, meaning it was not revealed. This level was not revealed to the patriarchs. It was revealed only to Israel at the time of the Exodus, and ultimately when the Torah was given, as it says, face to face, God spoke, Deuteronomy 5:4. I am who I am, Rashi 27:19. And I appeared to Abram, but with my name, Havaya, I did not become known to them. Now, however, the intention is, I will be God to you, and you will know that I am your God. In other words, the essence of Havaya itself will to you in the aspect of Elohim, namely dwelling and integrated within you.
Okay, so Hasidus explains that the Exodus wasn't just a physical release, but a taste of spiritual freedom. So when they stepped out of the dark restrictions into this great godly revelation, it created a new relationship with Hashem, as we know when they received the Torah, which we'll discuss in a minute. Text number 8. Okay, Michelle, can you read?
Yes.
Great.
In God's words to Moses, I appear to Abraham. We find the foundation of the Exodus. It wasn't just about leaving physical slavery behind. The essence of the redemption was spiritual, moving from subjugation to freedom in serving God. And more than that, the purpose of the spiritual redemption was the revelation and knowledge of the divine name Havaya.
Okay. So Hashem, when he's telling that Moshe is going to take the Jews out of Egypt, he's telling him about the names, he's telling him 2 things. He's saying the Jewish people are ready for this great revelation, this great light that my name reveals. And number 2 is that this time has finally arrived. The time for the redemption out of Egypt has arrived. It's going to unveil an infinite divine light coming into the world that hasn't been there before. So this spiritual exodus transformed the Jewish people and the Jewish experience. Egypt was a time of like darkness, confusion, psychological confinement. And going out of Egypt was a time of light and a breakthrough, and just psychologically, and they were free, and they had a more clarity and direction and meaning in their life. It changed everything about it. And this brings us to the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, when we literally did change things. Text number 9. Okay. Carrie, I guess back to you.
God said, "For I will be with you, and this is a sign for you that it was I who sent you. When you take the people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this mountain."
When Hashem gave the Torah on Mount Sinai, he gave us the light, Torah light, that brightens our life. It gives us moral clarity. It gives us spiritual meaning Torah illuminates our path to a better world, to a better life, and to find that peace and find that serenity and go beyond what is bothering us down here in the world, and we can um, get out of that. We can escape that Egypt that's within us, those boundaries within us that's like closing us in. 10a. Valentina?
You give me really good ones today. I'm so happy. For the mitzvot is a candle, and the Torah is light, and the way of life is moral reproof.
Okay, and then 10b. We'll give that to you too, Valentina.
I'm so happy. With every mitzvot a Jew does, it becomes brighter both within him or her and in the world around them. Oh,
Okay, so the Exodus and receiving of the Torah was this great burst of godly light. And as we heard now, as we head now to the final redemption, the world needs another big, big surge of light. How are we going to make it to Mashiach? How are we going to bring the final redemption? We need more and more light. So after so many years of Jews being in exile and living in what seemed to be dark or not always such great light, great times, a new godly light began to light up for the Jewish people. And this was first with the Arizal, a great Kabbalist who lived in the 16th century, and then the Baal Shem Tov, who brought Hasidus to the world in the 17th century, and eventually the Alter Rebbe, who started the Chabad Hasidus, who taught, which we're going to talk about in a second. Before I jump ahead, let's do text number 11. Eileen, are you able to read?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay. The core point of Chassidut is to draw down a new light from the innermost dimension of divine will and pleasure called Keter.
So we needed this new light in the world to awaken us, to permeate us, to help people work through what's happening inside of us, our psyche, our struggles, what's inside of our hearts. And Hasidus and Tanya teaches us all of this. It teaches that we have two souls, how they operate, what's going on, inside of each of us, what's going on with each other. And till this time, or right before Hasidus was revealed in the world, it was a time of great darkness for the Jewish people. The people were very low at a low and depressing point in their lives, in the history of the Jewish people. It was right after a false Messiah, Shabtai Tzvi. There many pogroms were happening, and the Jews needed a pick-me-up. And that was a time that Hashem allowed for these great rabbis to take these hidden, mystical, deep secrets of the Torah and bring them out to allow everyday person and anyone to sit and study them. And the Alter Rebbe, the first Chabad Rebbe, Shneur Zalman, he wrote the Tanya, and he brought about this whole intellectual side of all these mystical, deep things in the Torah, and made it in a way, he wrote it in a way that everyone could really understand it and learn how to live their life with deeper meaning and deeper understanding, with more peace inside of them. And it happens to be that yesterday, the 24th of Teves, was the Alter Rebbe's yahrzeit. And if we look at his name, since we're talking about names, before we talk about God's names, talk about names, we'll see how his name is a very interesting take on who the Alter Rebbe was. His name was Shneur Zalman. We'll talk about Shneur. Shneur is like two words, Shnei or two lights. It says, so the Alter Rebbe wrote a book of halacha, of Jewish law, of just how to practical things, how to what we do, what we don't do, all the different halachas, all the different Jewish laws. He also wrote as I said before, the Tanya, which is like the founding book of the Chabad Hasidic, but specifically Chabad Hasidic philosophy of how we live our lives and why we're in the world and what we do here. So the question is, could a person who doesn't really know much, or just a regular, simple person, maybe they don't know so much Torah, or maybe they do, but they're not so well versed in it, is it possible or practical for them to learn this much more deep mystical side of the Torah? Anybody? You don't know. So it seemed there are many people who said, no, that doesn't make any sense. How could such people don't know, just know the basics and don't know much more than that? How could they delve into these deep secrets of the Torah? They didn't want the Alter Rebbe to reveal all this deep Hasidic thought. But the answer is no, everyone can learn from it. The Alter Rebbe made Hasidus available to everybody, took these deep concepts about the human psyche and about the soul and put it into more layman's terms. Like today, the psychologists are catching up with what the Alter Rebbe wrote so many years ago. And if you have been sitting and learning in any of my classes, we've been learning all of this stuff. And that's why it's so interesting. And it's so relatable because we could see how to look at another Jew, how to look at ourselves, how to look at our connection with Hashem. All these different things help us in living a more rich and meaningful life. So let us look now more into the Rebbe's name, Shnei Or. As I said before, it means two lights. Text number 12. Where does the name originate? Text number 12. Who didn't read in a while? Carrie, go for it. And we'll the show notes. I think we did, yeah.
Okay. Shneur, the Maharshal wrote that there was once a man whose father's name was Meir, and his wife's father's name was Uri. There was a dispute over what to name the child. To make peace, they called him Shneur, meaning two lights, Meir and Uri. However, it seems that the name Shneur is more ancient. Rabbeinu Yonah, quoting his teacher, writes of Rabbi Shneur, and other rabbis also bore the name Shneur. Therefore, they named his child Shneur because the name already existed, and it also hinted at the two luminaries, Meir and Uri.
Okay, so Shneur means two lights, wherever it came from, and the Alter Rebbe's teaching it brings spiritual clarity, it brings light, and it has shaped lives of hundreds of thousands of people, opening up a psychological dimension of life, and also guiding so many people on just how to live practically Jewish life. And life in general is really smooth, and sometimes it's really hard to continue when things happen and this and that. But Chassidus that the Alter Rebbe wrote and shared and taught gives us clarity. And that's what the Tanya sets us to do. It helps us with our thinking and being driven into drive us into a better place where we could see. It helps us see through the fog, see through the darkness, see through the confusion, and then we can proceed and continue in our lives and bring us closer to the times of Mashiach. Let's read text number 13.
It's like sound mind, right? Like clarity.
Mm-hmm. Text number 13. Michelle, can you read it?
Yes. We're currently in a multi-layered darkness. To break through it, we need a powerful light. Torah as light, in the ordinary sense, is no longer sufficient. We need the luminary within the Torah. The inner dimensions of the Torah, which in our generation has been revealed in the teachings of Hasidut. These teachings must be spread outward until they reach even the furthest places.
So this week, today, what a great time for us to commit to study deeper like lights in the Torah that gives us strength and gives us the strength to carry on, which will only help the world in a good way and only bring more light into the world, right? Sometimes you need to bring like call on an inner strength to get through something. So that is a time that we're living in now. We need to call on that deeper strength, the deeper strength of the Hasidus teachings to help us get through what is going on in the world now. And we have to make sure to spread it out and teach others to keep it going and to keep it, that light shining strong to help everyone. Text number 14. I'll end with Carrie. Because you're here, you're right next to me.
This teaches us.
Should we read?
I have Carrie's reading.
Okay. This teaches us that it's not enough to illuminate only our own homes with the light of the Torah and mitzvot, and especially with the inner light of Torah, Hasidut. We must also bring light into the streets. And even more, when the street is dark, it's not enough just to kindle a light. We have to keep adding more and more light, constantly increasing, strengthening our efforts, and broadening our work further and further. This is the path of Chabad Hasidut, which is built on the foundations of love of God, love of the Torah, and love of the Jewish people.
So the Rabbi wrote so many times that learning and doing this is not just for yourself. It's not, you can't be satisfied just to be happy that you fulfilled in your own desire to learn or to understand or to have more moral clarity or to live a good life. You need to go out and teach it to others. And you need to bring it to, if you know something, you need to teach it to someone else. So you heard a good thing in the class or whatever it is, share it with somebody else. And this is what we need to bring Mashiach, to get it out there all over in the streets. It says when the wealth springs will spread out, that's when Mashiach will come. So this is what we need to do to bring Mashiach. We have access today in so many ways to learn Chassidus, to learn Tanya. Thanks to Alter Rebbe. Thanks today to God created technology that you could just flip a button on your phone and listen to, right? Tanya, if you guys have a podcast, you can listen to so many people online that do little, few minutes, or if you want to do longer, half-hour lessons in learning Tanya, daily Tanya. There's the famous Rabbi Gordon. There's a rabbi, what's his name? Silverberg. There's Rachel Shmukla. There's so many different people online that, on podcasts that wherever you listen to your podcast, you could just look it up, Tanya, daily Tanya, and a few will pop up. You can decide, try one, try to listen to it, because this is what the Alter Rebbe is teaching. This is the light that we need before the final redemption to get that last boost to get it moving along. And that's basically the lesson of today. Yeah, just learn and teach others, and will help you get the moral clarity, the peace, the unity that we're all missing since COVID. Spend more time doing some more holy and Jewish stuff, and it will help us all.
You're gonna email us the PowerPoint?
I could try to send you some links, but I know different. I listen to things on Apple Podcasts. Some people use Spotify. Some people use YouTube. Everyone uses something else. But I could try to send some things. I also wanted to just say another refuah shalema for our friend Shelly Saraleya Bas Kavabela.
How is she doing?